Hi, thanks for joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connection. I'm Donna McMullen, your host from the hospital, and joining me today is Lori King McCracken, and she's the marketing coordinator for the BRMC program First Step, which is a drug and alcohol medical stabilization program.
Yes.
Did I say that right, Lori?
Did. Okay. It is.
All right, tell us about the program. How long have you been there now at the hospital?
Approximately about 2 years. The service has been at the hospital.
Okay.
And we treat those who are getting ready to or going through the withdrawals of alcohol, pain medications, or other illegal drugs.
Okay. All right. So now initially we believe there was another name attached to it at one time.
We used to be New Vision.
New Vision. All right.
And on February 18th this past year, became First Step.
First Step. Yes. And it really is a first step.
It is a first step for many people. Yes.
Sure. Sure, and I know you're going to be able to share some of those stories with us today on the successes, what truly a difference you can make in people's lives by going through this process. Tell us how this process works. How would someone who has now a family member could call you?
A family member, a doctor's office. It's just a phone call.
Okay,
It can be the individual. Yes,
okay.
They can refer themselves. Phone call gets some just general information. First, it's an elective service, so they have to be willing to come. You know,
Sure.
a family member can't call and say, "Come pick so and so
Yeah.
up."
Yeah, we're doing an intervention here.
Tie them down.
Yeah,
they have to be willing to come.
Sure.
Or it's not successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how long does this process take? What's the step-by-step? Now that we've taken that first step.
We've taken the information, we've called the doctor, we've gotten the financial information as well as making sure the patient meets criteria.
So this is covered by insurance?
It is Medicaid.
Medicaid will cover this.
And we also take Missouri Medicaid as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's Arkansas Medicaid, Missouri Medicaid, Medicare, private insurance, and as well as private pay. And so we get that information, get their insurance benefits, make sure that the insurance covers it. Because just because they have insurance doesn't mean that this is a covered benefit. So we make sure that everything's covered so the patient doesn't
Sure.
have that worry. Then we call the hospitalist, the doctors that oversee this service. And
So the hospitalists, I know that's a term that maybe for our viewing audience isn't something they're really familiar with. This is a very specialized area.
It is. The hospitalists, they assume the care of the patient in place of the primary care.
Sure. So in other words, the primary care physician can spend more time
with their patients
in the clinic.
clinic.
Patients in the clinic, sure.
And then the hospitalist, will work with the primary care doctor.
Be right there in the hospital all that time, report back to the primary care physician.
So they oversee the patient's care while they're in the hospital. The patient gets out of the hospital, they go back to see their primary care doctor.
Sure. So they've got great support. Someone
they
coming
do.
into the program is going to
makes the rounds for them and
Sure.
sees their patient. So once we've given the medical history, what's going on with the patient to the doctor, we then call all the other individuals who play a large part in the hospital, get them a bed, and they can usually get in that day or first thing the next morning. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, and that would be wonderful because
when a person in need, they're sick,
sure,
they need
and
attention
they finally
fast.
come to that
the
realization they've got to get in there, and
so we try to accommodate them, get them in as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because they're anxious. They've made this huge step, and so
and they're scared.
They are,
and they know that there's going to be some probably residual side effects, or is this part of what the medical stabilization is?
It gets them through
the physical portions of it.
Yes, and then we help them. Once they come to the hospital and they're discharged, we're not finished with them. We follow them for a year. We make quarterly calls just to check on them, see how they're doing. I kind of explain like a shoe. We provide other resources, and if what we've provided doesn't fit, well, let's try something else because we want people to be successful. That's why we've lasted this long. So
sure, I love that analogy with a shoe.
Well, I like shoes.
The shopping queen here.
I do. I like shoes. So we do follow, and a lot of patients end up going into treatment. And that's
now, when you say they go into treatment, they've come in, they've agreed.
They've agreed
to come in, stay off of whatever it is, whether it's alcohol.
And everything's confidential.
Sure.
When they make that first call, it's always confidential.
Right, right. So to get rid of that stigmatism that goes along with.
Because they're on a floor with so many other sick patients who have had, heart problems. I mean, there's multitude
So
of
they're
things.
not isolated
They're
in a
not
separate
isolated.
part of the hospital. No one knows why they're there.
No one knows why they're there.
So are you drawing patients from this particular area, or what areas are you drawing patients from?
We've seen patients as far as Pine Bluff
Okay.
and as far as St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, both ends of the world.
How long does this particular medical intervention take?
Approximately 3 to 5 days.
3 to 5
It
days.
just really depends on the individual. Our older patients, sometimes they stay the 5 days. They stay longer.
When they're going through this, I mean, it may create other problems within their chemical balance within their body, so some of the older folks in particular might need to stay those
Stay a little
extra
longer,
days. Yeah, yeah. Now, once they leave this program, you said that there's follow-up not only with calling them, but what else do you do? Is there a placement program?
There's counseling.
Okay.
Some people they're professionals. They have jobs. They have a family. They've just kind of maybe been, sober for 10 years, and they've just taken a step back. So they kind of need to be put back on their feet. And they have got jobs and families, so they can really only do outpatient counseling. Some people, they can accommodate their schedules and their lifestyles where they can go, to a 30-day treatment. And we've actually sent people as far as Mississippi to a 12-month, 18-month program.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So
oh my goodness.
we've seen people go to Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and we've made all those arrangements for those individuals to go.
And you still continue to follow them for a year?
We still follow them for a year.
How are you doing success rate-wise? What are you finding with this program? Is it, we know there's a huge need.
There is a huge need.
I was looking at here, according to the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, 64% of Americans drink alcohol, with 50% being regular drinkers. The consequences of this are 22,073 alcohol-caused deaths a year. These are deaths unrelated to accidents, suicides, or homicides. Yep. About half of these deaths are from liver disease. Oh my goodness.
They're just drinking at home or wherever.
It says males lead females in consumption, and the highest use occurs in the 18 to 24-year-old age group. These are astounding figures that I'm looking at here. And then it does get into, although alcohol-related traffic fatalities have fallen over the past 40 years, which is wonderful to hear, a third of the deaths still involve alcohol. The tragedy, of course, is that the death may not be of the alcohol-impaired person, but a passenger or another driver. So thank goodness there's a program like First Step in place to help individuals. No one wants to have the accountability or responsibility of being the cause of someone else's
well,
death.
not even alcohol, but pain medication. People are hit every day of someone under the influence of pain medication, whether they've overtaken it or it's just the effect that it has on you. There's always a warning label. Usually, this may cause drowsiness, so don't get in the car and take off, because it's the same thing as alcohol. It can have an effect on you.
Sure. Yep. Now, my goodness, I know that you've got some other figures there too.
I do. It's on prescription drugs, and they say about 6.2 million Americans abuse their prescription drugs. And they say an estimated 4.7 million people use pain relievers non-medically. Now, when I say non-medically, I mean they're either taking the prescription medication without a prescription, or they're taking it more than prescribed. And it includes those who take prescription drugs to get high or self-treat for withdrawal from illegal drugs. And they say that 1.8 million use tranquilizers, over 904,000 use stimulants, and 234,000 use sedatives. And in 2008, 4 million people ages 12 or older had received treatment for alcohol or illicit drug use in the past year.
Oh my goodness, those are disturbing numbers with a young age.
2.2 million received treatment at a self-help group, and 1.5 million received treatment at a rehab facility or an outpatient. And so, we are able to help to incorporate those same things for people who come to First Step. We can set up counseling locally, in our area or in their area. And we can also send them to outpatient or inpatient treatment.
Yeah. Oh, man. Thank goodness you're there, really.
We have helped a lot of people, I feel like, in this area as well as other parts of the states.
Any stories, any successes you can share with us today?
Well, we do have lots of success stories. Probably a recent one, an individual, a younger individual in the 20s. You know, our youngest patient's 18, and our oldest patient has been 83.
Oh my God! What?
I know. So we have
what a
wide.
spectrum! Wow.
We did have an individual who's in his 20s, and came to us and went through the service. And actually, we referred this individual to a facility in Little Rock, and then we find out there's a brand new facility. And I'm not doing marketing for another facility.
Yeah.
But there's a new so-called Betty Ford of Arkansas.
Really?
So this patient is able to go to this new facility. It's kind of their guinea pig. And we did call and check on him, and he's doing great.
Love to hear it. Good success story.
So it's coming a learning experience for all of us.
I want to hear more about this, and especially if you can share any more about where this facility is. Kind of this. Is it called a Betty Ford, or just
It's not. It's
just
called Oasis.
Oasis.
But they're calling it their Betty Ford model.
Yeah. I'll do a little marketing for them.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break, then we'll be back talking with Lori King McCracken and learning more about First Step and how you can gain help for yourself or your loved one. We'll be right back.